In today's reading, we're going to read 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. And in this single verse, we have outlined for us how all the plans, purposes, and pretensions of humanity will end. So let's read verse 10. But the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein, shall be burned up. The day of the Lord is a phrase that occurs throughout the prophetic books of the Old Testament and on a small number of occasions in the New Testament. The question that we might obviously and reasonably ask is, when is it? Now, in these videos I've already spoken about my Bible class teacher, the late Jimmy McClements. I remember him referring to 1 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 3, where we read, "It is a very small thing that I should be judged of you or of man's judgment." Jimmy pointed out that the phrase man's judgment literally means man's day or the day of man. And he went on to explain that the day of man is the day we are currently living in. He then mentioned the expression, the day of Jesus Christ, which we read in Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. And he pointed out that that refers to the rapture. Later in this chapter where we've read, we read about the coming of the day of God, chapter 3, verse 12. And that points us right to the end of time, to eternity. And between those 2 points, the rapture and the eternal state, we have the day of the Lord. In this verse, Peter indicates the whole span of time. The day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night really refers to its beginning after the Lord comes for his church. And the heavens shall pass away with a great noise refers to the very end. It is a period during which God's righteous judgment will be seen in this world in evident display in a way that it is not seen in this current age. Peter assures us that the day of the Lord will come. The scoffers may mock, but the advent is guaranteed. As Paul said on Mars Hill in Athens in Acts 17:31, he hath appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness. Then Peter explains how it will come as a thief in the night. And that simply means unexpectedly. Perhaps when man is at the high point of his independent, self-sufficient, defiant boasting, this day will be upon him. Paul puts it this way in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 2 and 3. The day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, and they shall not escape. Following the tribulation, the judgment of the living nations, the millennium kingdom, and the final great rebellion which is described in Revelation 20 verses 7 to 10, this current creation will be dissolved, and that word is used in verses 11 and 12. The description that Peter gives suggests to the modern mind the disintegration of every particle to its elementary, subatomic, fundamental components. The elements shall melt with fervent heat. All of man's brilliance, bureaucracy, buildings, boldness, boasts, bluff, and blasphemy will come to nothing in that day. The earth and the works that are therein shall be burned up. It casts a certain light on the present world, and as Peter will go on to say, it should condition our hearts to hold the things of time and sense with a very loose grip. Let's try to do that as we make our way to heaven and home.